going to go through that presentation. We are award winning, and we this is the first of its kind. I believe we're going to get a lot of accolades as we go, and it is the beginning. We're a fintech startup, and this is still, pretty much year one, year two. There's no official. We officially launched, I should say, in this past October, November, at an event we did at the Palazzo Hotel in Las Vegas. But you're going to see everything is just coming together. There's a lot to it. So let's just talk about it. And the slides keep me on track. Cashflow NFT, our NFTs pay. If you're looking behind me, you might see our Boogie Gopher. That's our first NFT. We have Little Miss Boogie coming out. We have the Tycoon Raccoon coming out. And what really makes us unique and different from all the NFTs I've ever looked at is that most NFTs are collectibles. People buy them. It's kind of a unique group of people that get into NFTs, and they're kind of digital works of art that have a computer code that are on the blockchain, and each one is an individual in and of itself, and they have range in all kinds of denominations, and some have even sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and people have made millions with them. So if you're thinking that type of NFT, I'm going to ask you to put that on the side. Don't even think about that type of NFT. We'll come back to it later. What we're talking about is a business model. We're talking about brick and mortar stores, crypto on the street, Miracle Cash and more, and the whole crypto industry, everything crypto. So what occurred was there was a cross-company deal. Mike Athier, who I'm friends with, I've been friends with for quite some time, hit a home run in crypto, became a crypto millionaire, went to the island of Cyprus to buy a condo overlooking the Mediterranean, and he met a guy named Hakan Torhan. And Hakan has a background in business. He was a lawyer, saw a gentleman trying to sell an ATM to a convenience store owner in the United Kingdom over 20 years ago, and he ended up getting involved with that company, became the top salesperson, became the top manager, developed a team that put out the majority of the ATMs in the United Kingdom, over 55,000 of them. Then he took that exact skill set, went to Turkey, where he had to convince the authorities to allow him to develop a algorithm to link the four top banks together so you could have one card that could be used at any ATM all over the country. They succeeded in doing that, and they rolled out all the ATMs there. In the process, he also created a scoring system, which is kind of like an Equifax, a TransUnion, and Experian that actually just did it a little bit better, created a lot more data points, analyzed a lot more information, and the end result was that normally when somebody's credit score was run, about 36% would qualify. Based on the more detailed analysis, 42% qualified. So there was a nice delta there of a 6% delta that was very advantageous to companies that utilized that technology. So everything you're going to see comes from that background with Hakan. And when Micah met him, Micah was kind of little bit a little bit assuming, let's use that word, because I was too. When I looked at what you're going to look at first I thought, wow, I could have my own crypto store? That would be incredible. This thing looks pretty cool. And Micah thought he could buy a store. And then what he found out was that Miracle Cash and More, Hakan's company, he's the CEO of it, was actually selling territories. And the territories were entire countries. And so he found at the time that he was able to buy Germany for $1 million, got a small group of investors, bought Germany, bought France, bought Spain, and bought the UK. And in the process of bringing on a small group of additional investors, he realized that if they could create a more a smaller number, we could get a lot more people that might be interested in actually participating in the master franchise agreement. And that was what developed into Cashflow NFT. So we're going to be talking about the master franchise agreement from the United Kingdom. I'm going to be talking about the master franchise agreement from Benelux. Benelux are three countries in one, which is Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg all together. And those are the two NFTs that we are selling at this point in time. Spain is sold out. Germany is sold out. France is sold out. what we're selling and what we're talking about on this webinar today is we're talking about specifically the United Kingdom, which is just about ready to sell out. So if you like what you see, you want to get into the United Kingdom, you got to act pretty quickly. And I'm talking about within hours because I don't think it's going to be here much longer. And then we have Benelux, which we just started selling a couple of weeks ago, and we're more than 25% through the sale of those NFTs. So let's talk about the UK first. The cross-company deal with the UK is that Cashflow NFT signed a deal with Miracle Cash and More to get 75% of the marketing revenue, of which they're going to tokenize 50% and give it to us, the UK membership NFT owners. There's 1,488. That's the exact amount. There'll never be more. There's 1,488 that have been for sale. My understanding within the last couple of days is we're down somewhere around 20 remaining. So they might sell out today, tomorrow. I'm sure they're going to sell out before this month is out. And so if you want to get in at the low price of $5,000, it's going to go up to 10,000 any day now. So we're just holding off. They made an announcement last week that we're increasing both Benelux and the UK to 10,000. It hasn't officially been done yet. So if you make the purchase today, you get it at the 5,000. Just think about that. Imagine buying something today that doubles in value in the next several days to come. Pretty cool. So what is Miracle Cash and More? When I spoke to Ray Vidrio for the first time back in July, he said, Ed, we partnered with this company, Miracle Cash and More, and what it is brick and mortar stores on the street, cryptocurrency on the street, crypto on the street, brick and mortar stores like the Apple Store. And when he said that to me, the light bulb went off because I know there's a need for something like this. Why? Because I'm in crypto and I know how hard it is to get onboarded into the space. And if you can walk into a store and somebody can take you by the hand, somebody at a smart desk that can show you everything and get you set up for the first time, I know that masses of population will do that. Why? Because it kind of, as soon as this is what happens with crypto, it's really kind of funny because it's so volatile that when it's crashing, and by the way, Bitcoin has crashed 5 times already. And every time it crashes, everybody says the same thing. Oh, it's going out of business. Crypto's going out of business. Kind of reminds me of the people, there were these 2 professors. I don't know if you've ever saw this YouTube video. It's hysterical. There's these 2 professors back in, I think it was back in the 90s, where one is saying that, computers came out, by the way. They were getting sold. It was in the beginning stages of personal computers. And one of them was adamant that it was just a fad. It's just a fad. It's like the pet rock. It's going to go away. There's no real usage for it. Da 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 da. And I just laugh hysterical when critics say stuff like that. One of my mentors, Zig Ziglar, said they've never erected a statue of a critic. They've been critics all the way in all of human history. There have been critics. Most people are naysayers. Most people look for what's wrong instead of what's right. Most people do not have an ounce of entrepreneurial blood in their bones, and they're too afraid, is what it really is. They're afraid. They're afraid of success. They're afraid of failure. So if you come up with any idea that sounds different, they're going to try to chop you down. That's just the way human nature is. People don't like somebody talking about elevating themselves out of their comfort zone. If you come across with an idea that they don't understand, they can't recognize, they can tell you everything that's wrong with it. Oh, it's one of those pyramid schemes. Oh yeah, I knew my Uncle Joe. He got involved with something. He had a garage full of stuff, and he lost all his money. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I mean, you hear all this silly stuff, and to watch people squirm in their seats, I really get a kick out of it because I talk to all different types of people from all different economic levels in their life, and it just surprises me how if somebody wants to say no to you, they'll think of any excuse to say no, So don't take those kind of things personal. However, if you want to put yourself in a good camp, I'm going to give you, by the way, part of my presentations always have a little bit of humor and always have a little bit of what I call nuggets that are really great learning things. I love to quote successful people. One of my favorite quotes in life, it's up on the wall there, is Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein said, "Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds." I just love that because as soon as you start, when I was talking about electric cars before Tesla, anybody knew what Tesla was, I knew about the Roadster. I read about Elon Musk. I knew his background. I knew that he wanted to make a sedan. I knew that he wanted to go public. I saw all this stuff, and I'm telling people, I'm telling you, man, electric cars are the future. And people are saying, "No way, are you kidding me? You're crazy. You're nuts." And guess where we are today? Electric cars all over the place. No different than the personal computer. Bill Gates says there's going to be a personal computer in everybody's home, a computer in every house. At the time, IBM was the computer company, and only companies had computers, and they were A-frame computers the size of an entire room. So nobody could relate to how that thing could get shrunk down to something that could be in a house. But even still, yet, why would anybody want one unless they had a business? You only use it if you have a business. I mean, who would want a personal computer? Well, these are people who had vision. These are people who had foresight. These are people who saw something that wasn't created yet and believed it could be created. This is Walt Disney standing in a swamp in Orlando going, we're going to build the biggest amusement park in the world right here in this swampland. Not only are you going to charge people to go on a rise, we're going to charge people to walk through the gates. I mean, people thought he was nuts, right? So when we start talking about everybody in the world using crypto, and we're putting stores in, and people have never seen a store, they're not into crypto. All they've heard is Bitcoin's gonna crash, Bitcoin's going down, all this kind of stuff. And they look at things like my dad taught me at a very young age. Ed, you could be an optimist and you could be a pessimist. It's up to you. The glass is either half empty or it's half full. It's up to you. So whenever negativity happens, what CNN, the acronym for CNN, the news show, CNN, you know what that stands for? Constant negative news. I mean, that's what the media does. And they're just featuring all negative stuff, and they'll twist stuff. They'll say things that aren't even true. Fake news, they'll put out there just to justify their agenda and their point of view. And so I've always looked at things from a little bit more of, by the way, my sign is a Libra. So we weigh things out on the scales. I always listen to both sides, and I try to make an intelligent decision on my own based on enough information that I've gathered to make that decision. And what I found is that great entrepreneurs that have great ideas, generally speaking, there's only a small segment of the population that actually see it or get it, and that's okay. We're not looking for everybody. We're looking for the people who see it and get it and want to be a part of it. So Miracle Cash and More got founded in 2017, became operational in 2020. Two stores in Northern Cyprus that were doing over approximately a half a million a day when I looked at this at first. Right now, we're finishing up 4 more stores. By the end of this month, we're going to open up 4 stores. We're going to have ribbon cutting ceremonies and all that kind of stuff, all that jazz. We're going to have a total of 5 stores, one of which is actually 2 stores in one, because it's not only Miracle Cash and More that you're looking at here, but it's also Miracle Exchange, which is a fiat currency exchange. So we're doing something very special. We're in Amsterdam. That's what you're looking at. We're opening up Berlin later on this month. We're opening up Cologne, Germany, Paris, France, London, England, Madrid, Spain, Barcelona, Spain, Brussels, Belgium. Within the next quarter or so, within the next 120 days, we're going to have 12 stores in all these different countries with plans and opening up even more. We'll be going to other European countries. We have offices down in Manila. We're going into the Philippines, Southeast Asia. We're going to come to the United States. This is just the beginning. Why? Because what you see and what you're about to see is the technological breakthrough of what is needed today in order to get mass adoption into. In order to take that smartphone that we have, that Apple Steve Jobs created. Remember, prior to that, you had a cell phone. It was a flip phone if you were, modern. If you got started back in the 80s, like when I bought my first, I had my first one, it was back in 91, it was the size of a brick. And back then you were weird, I was a firefighter in New York. My buddies used to kid me. They called me the executive. My name is Ed. They called me the executive. I'm carrying around a cell phone. None of them had a cell phone and all this kind of stuff. And, they kind of ribbed me for it, kind of make fun of me. But in reality, I was just a couple of steps ahead. That's all. I like being a couple of steps ahead. I like I like the first mover advantage. I understand the value in first mover advantage. So if you're that type of person that recognizes the value of being the first to market, you understand that the secret, if you want to call it a secret, is to get involved before the whole world knows about it. To position yourself in front of the masses before the masses react. And that's what you're looking at here. So our timeline is perfect for anybody who really wants to succeed at a major level. with us. And so what that means is this: we stand out. Why? Because we actually have stores. None of the cryptocurrency exchanges have stores. I don't care if you're talking about Coinbase, or you're talking about crypto.com, or you're talking about Binance. By the way, the comparison that you're looking at shows 6 of the top exchanges and then us. We own our own exchange. The first 4 check marks are buy, sell, trade cryptocurrency. The fourth one is they have their own cryptocurrency coin. And the fifth one, in just one of the columns, that's Binance, is they have their own stable coin. We have all that. Plus, 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 plus. We meet all of the licensing uh, regulations in every country. Before we ever open up a store, we get the licensing, we get secure, we're insured, we're backed. That makes us stand out. Why? Because there isn't a cryptocurrency exchange out there that you could walk in off the street and talk to somebody. There isn't a cryptocurrency exchange out there where you could pick up the phone and talk to somebody. There isn't a cryptocurrency exchange out there where you could do a Zoom meeting and talk to somebody. None of them do that. We do. We do. Miracle Cash and More does that. 24 hours, 24/7 customer support. If you go online right now and say, "Yeah, but I could access somebody with just doing a chat," chances are you're talking to a robot. We've bridged the gap. We're bringing crypto to the streets. This is called crypto on the streets. Miracle Cash and More, the brick and mortar store like the Apple store, like Ray told me, and we have 9 different delivery channels. We have our physical stores. We have our ATMs. We have our Miracle Pay electronic terminals. We have our Miracle Pay online. We have our website platforms, mobile apps. We have Miracle with installments, Miracle Home, Miracle Deal, Miracle with installments for business. These are 9 different delivery channels. And what Hakan wanted to do was he looked at what Jeff Bezos did in online retail with Amazon. When Jeff Bezos first started, it was a bookstore, but that wasn't what he wanted to build. That was just the beginning of the platform to get it started. What he wanted to build was the everything store, where you could buy almost everything you want online, one easy place to go to get everything. That's what Hakan wants to do in crypto. Everything crypto, all in one place. That's why we have all those extra check marks. That's why we have all these delivery channels. So let's go right into it. I'm not going to get into the details of Miracle Installments and Miracle Home, only to say that they are powered by our own scoring technology that we own, which is a scoring technology is like a credit bureau, like an Equifax, like a TransUnion, like an Experian. We own that. We have the ability to score individuals and businesses, and those products are in that realm. I'm not going to get into that right now. Everybody knows what a web platform is. Everybody knows what an app is. Miracle Deal, that we'll talk about later on, because that pretty much really pertains to the merchants that take on our terminals and our products. And Miracle Installment, same thing as Miracle Installment for business, the same thing as Miracle Installments, which is for the consumer. So let's look at the first 3 physical stores, which is our Miracle Exchange. This is where people can come in off the streets. They could buy, sell, and trade. They can learn all about all the delivery channels. If they're a business owner and they want to get set up with a terminal, like you see on the right-hand side, electronic terminal, if they want to accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment, right now most businesses accept what they call these plastic cards. They call them credit cards, and some are actually what they call debit cards. A debit card is not a credit card. It's actually linked to your checking account. Right. So I'm being facetious because there was a point in time they didn't exist, and now they're just taken for granted. Right. MasterCard, Visa card, American Express. Everywhere we go, you could pay for almost everything that you're going to do. Whether you're out dining out, you're at a coffee shop, you're in a retail establishment, you're in any type of a store. You could use credit or a debit card to pay for your purchases. Can you pay with crypto? That's been the challenge. We're bridging the gap. Now, companies can actually take on the Miracle products and accept crypto. There was a great article done it was actually a study done by Deloitte, and it was featured in a news article I read on CNBC Online. And it stated that over 1,000 decision makers of retail companies, big retail companies, when surveyed, they all agreed, I shouldn't say all, 75%, the majority of them agreed. 75% of them said they expect to be accepting crypto as a form of payment within the next 2 years. How are they going to do that? Guys, hold on, let me go and get my phone, and I got a wallet on here, and I'll give you my address, and you can send me your. Yeah, some people have done that. That's the beginning stages. That's old world now. Why? Because they're gonna be able to get an electronic terminal within seconds. A person says, "I want to pay with," and by the way, on that little terminal and in our ATMs, they can access up to 1,000 different cryptocurrencies. Meaning that whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Engine Coin, Litecoin, no matter what it is, that's a top level coin, they could buy whatever they want with their choice of currency that they own. And with a QR code, tapping it on the device, bang, it goes through in seconds. And they made a purchase, just like they do with a credit card, only now they're using crypto. That's what we're bringing to the market. So let's look at the size and scope of it. In the UK in 2021, there was $170 billion worth of transactional volume. Based on everything you just saw, the comparisons to what's out there, we feel very comfortable. We believe that we could capture. Now, again, we just talked about the United Kingdom at first. Around the world, it's very similar, but the United Kingdom at first. We are expecting to achieve at least 3.5%, a target of 3.5% of that market. 3.5% of 170 billion is 6 billion with a 1% transaction fee. And that, by the way, let's stop right here. I was on the phone with a very astute gentleman last night, very sharp guy, but I talk so fast and we cover so much information, this part wasn't totally grasped. We make money on the transactional, on the transactions, the transactional fees. So whenever, just like with a credit card, when you go into, you don't know this, right? Most people don't realize this. They're just purchasing something. They don't know that that store, that merchant, is paying 2 to 3% out of that purchase to be able to make that transaction with a credit card or Visa card, MasterCard. That's who pays for it. In crypto, it's the online consumer that pays the transaction fee. So if somebody is making a purchase or utilizing crypto in any form or fashion, buy, sell, trade, minimum 1% transaction fee. So on 6 billion, 1% transaction fee is $60 million. There's a lot of money in this, guys. Yeah, I didn't make mention on the last slide. I should have. Binance on a daily basis does anywhere from 10 billion to 70 billion of transactional volume every single day. It's crazy. Multiply it by 10%. See how much money they're making. It's ludicrous. So here we have the ability to participate in that. 1% of 6 billion is 60 million. 75% of that goes to Cashflow NFT. And then Cashflow NFT splits that 45 million with us. And there's only 1,488 of us. And there might even be less than that because everybody's not buying just one membership NFT. Some are buying 2, 3, 4, 5. Some are buying 10. Some are buying 20. Some are buying a lot more. And on each one, they're earning the same amount. And when you look at it from a marketing revenue standpoint, the possibility of buying a membership that has a lot of different benefits, including NFT, and then the NFT that has computer code tied to a blockchain, tied to a master franchise agreement, receiving marketing revenue from the transaction fees. I hope I didn't lose you right there. All coming back to you in a passive residual income on a quarterly basis. Wow. That's what we have here, guys. And if the membership was only 5,000, it's crazy. If the membership was 10,000, it's crazy. Why? Because just in this one area, if we hit these minimums, again, there's no guarantee. Matter of fact, let's dive into the disclosure right at the bottom left. It says the information presented does not constitute investment or any other types of financial advice. We're not giving financial advice. I'm not accredited in anything. I'm a retired firefighter. This information is for educational purposes only. There's no guarantee of revenue here. There's no promise of earnings. We're just saying, here's the size and scope of the market. Here's how Miracle Cash and More operates. Here's how Cashflow NFT operates. and these are just possibilities. These are what we call just forward thinking, just forward statements of the possibilities of the future. Let's look at automatic vending machines. 1,000 automatic vending machines is our goal, our objective for the first 12 months. 18-month goal, 2,000. 24-month goal, 4,000. If the average transaction is $500 with an average of 5 transactions per machine with a 6% fee, this is what it would equate to, over $10,000 per membership NFT. And then we look at the electronic terminals, 10,000 locations. Of course, we want way more than this. 20,000 units we want out there within our first 12 months, 40,000. I think these are very low estimates. And let me explain to you why. We just signed our first contract with a major company. So there is one company that owns 4,000 Vodafone stores in Germany. They just signed contracts with us. They're so excited. They believe that these 3 areas that you're looking at here, plus the Miraclewood installments, they're interested in all 4 of them. They're interested in having at least 2 or 3 of these in every store they have. They want the electronic terminals in every store. They want to offer Miracle installments in every store. In some of their stores, they want AVM, and I believe in all their stores, they also want access to the Miracle Exchange where people can buy, sell, and trade crypto. So imagine that in one shot, with one decision, we're in 4,000 locations. Here we're talking about 10,000 locations is our 12-month goal. I think we're going to surpass that. I honestly do. Why? Because as soon as that contract was signed, another company came forward with 150 stores. As soon as that was signed, another one came forward with 1,500 stores. So now we're talking about 4,000, 1,500, 500. That's another 2,000. That's 6,000 right there. All we're going to need is a couple more stores with that kind of numbers, and all of a sudden we exceed that 10,000 number. So we can hit these numbers a lot faster than we're indicating here. However, if you just add it all together, I mean, look at low end. If we're saying 15 plus 10 plus 20, that's what, 45,000? Who knows? What we believe is this: with all of the 9 delivery channels we have, it's possible that in year 1, our membership NFTs receive 20,000 to 100,000 in marketing revenue. There's no guarantee. We're not projecting something that we guarantee. We can't guarantee anything. We're projecting forward thinking. We're going, hey, we could build an airplane, a flying machine. When there were no flying machines, it's like the Wright brothers, right? They were bicycle mechanics. Hey, we're gonna put this contraption together. We're gonna make a flying machine, right? People thought they were nuts. All we're telling you is this is what we're thinking about doing. We're not telling you it's done, guaranteed. Year 2, 50,000 to 250. Year 3, 100,000 to $500,000. Year 4, 200,000 to $1 million. We think that is possible. That's either half empty or half full. We think that is possible. And if that is possible, here's what Ray told me first conversation I had on this. He said, Ed, we have an exit strategy to sell the company for more than 10 times earnings. Which means that in year 4, if we sell it based on year 4 volume, which by the way, I think it could happen even earlier than this. The company has an exit strategy to sell the company for $200 billion. At 10 times earnings, 20 times earnings, 30 times earnings, it could happen. And when that occurs, if that occurs, those of us who have the membership is tied to the business and will be sold at an equal denomination based on that 4th year volume. And if that 4th year revenue is $1 million and it sells, at 10 times that's 10 million. Now I don't know about you, but I had a little bit of knowledge of an exit strategy. All I knew is that exit strategies pertain to companies that got built with the purpose of selling, and they had an exit strategy. And upon exit, most of the companies I've ever heard about doing this, it was for hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. So I've never had the chance to be engaged with something like that before. And I looked at this and I said, if that's possible, I'm ready for that run. I've got over 30 years under my belt of experience. I'm ready for that run. And just look at the banners on the sides. It says Miracle Cash and more. Buy and sell crypto. And you see, if you're not familiar with those icons there, you got the Bitcoin icon, you got the Ethereum icon, and you got the Tether icon. Why? Because those are the top three that are going to be used. Then you look at Miracle Pay, pay with crypto. What does it show? The Bitcoin icon, the Ethereum icon, and the Tether icon. Why? Because those are the ones that are most popularly used. And those decals will be on store windows everywhere, just like MasterCard, Visa card, and MasterCard are. Guys, has the light bulb gone off yet? Do you get it? Do you have an ounce of entrepreneurial blood? Now, you might be skeptical, and you might want to research more. I encourage you to do that. You might want to talk to more people, and I encourage you to do that. However, do it fast, because these prices that we're selling at right now are well below where I believe they're going. Why? Because we're doing a DCF on the company. We have a professional financial person who has a background with Merrill Lynch and with Goldman Sachs that is creating what's called a DCF, that's a discounted cash value analysis. And it goes into great detail of over 200 different varying points that include lease agreements, it includes a production of equipment, ownership of equipment, how many stores you have, contracts like the one that we landed with Vodafone. All that stuff comes into play. And based on the fact that in Germany, we were selling NFTs in Germany for 25,000. We even sold some at 35,000. That sold out. And based on what's happening in Germany, the valuation on the NFTs there is coming in not at 25 or 35,000. It's coming in at over $500,000 per NFT, which means that NFT is worth way more than 25 or 35,000. And so when that happens, with that DCF, which has all the detailed information in it, that means that the NFT and the business at large can be collateralized and borrowed against. And if it's a 60% collateralization, you do the numbers. So this value that's in your hands as the stores open, as the transaction volume happens, as all these contracts come to fruition over time, it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. Hopefully, I got you wake up a little bit. We like to say if that doesn't excite you, wood is wet. We have something amazing here, and in addition to what we just went over in the UK, the membership NFTs, they're sharing 50% profit of two of the stores in the UK. Benelux is amazing. That's Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Benelux receives 100% of the marketing revenue that comes from the transactional volume of the 9 delivery channels that we just mentioned, and 50% in the Netherlands, 100% in Luxembourg, and there's only 2,000 Benelux memberships. We had a ridiculously low price that we started out with. We started out at $2,500. They're all sold out, 500 of them. Right now we're at 5,000. That's going to go up momentarily. Could go up tomorrow. Could go up next week. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going up to 10,000. So if you want to get in on Benelux, if you want to get into the UK, I think there's a handful left.